Up everybody, I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and as your resident Arishem expert, I wanted to discuss the recent nerf and talk about the ways that it might even be a buff with some things that I'm currently trying out with Arishem. So the new text here is to shuffle 12 down from 15 new cards into your deck. On turn 3, get +1 max energy. So obviously, shuffle 12 down from 15, that is actually just a buff. Having less random cards in your deck is just going to allow you to find the cards that you put into the deck more consistently. New is probably, for the most part, a nerf. It means that the cards that you put in, you're not going to be able to find multiple copies of, and thus you're not going to be able to get multiple Mockingbirds as easily, and other things like that. Though there are some ways that this is a buff, but I think most people agree on turn 3 now getting +1 max energy instead of at the start of the game, meaning that you don't have that extra energy on turns 1 and 2, is certainly a nerf, right? Well, it's actually a buff for one card in particular. You might be able to see it in the deck right here. Let's make that full screen now. Wiccan decks are a puzzle, and the puzzle is, how do you spend your energy on the first few turns of the game while still having a bunch of cool cards to play on the later turns? And actually, Arishem helps you out a great deal, always giving you the energy to play a turn 3 Wiccan. One thing that was tricky with Arishem+Wiccan previously was making sure you were able to spend all of your extra energy in those early turns, and now that you don't have the extra energy on turn 1 and turn 2, sure, that's going to make it impossible for you to have like the crazy draw where you go turn 1 Psylocke into a turn 2 Wiccan, but aside from that, you should now a little bit more easily be able to get your turn 1 energy spent and your turn 2 energy spent, and then you don't have to do anything else. You can just play Wiccan on turn 3 and get this on reveal for 2 more max energy. So that was the idea that I started with, and that's what got me here to the new Arishem. And I don't know if this is actually the new Arishem deck that people are going to be playing, but it's what I'm trying out. It is my day 1 version of this new build of Arishem. I did also want to talk briefly, I guess, on the idea that new could even be a buff. It's a little bit silly, but there are some cards that you would want to draw and not draw multiples of, and some of those cards actually do work with Wiccan as well. So the main contenders for this are going to be Quicksilver, Domino, Agatha, kind of, probably. You could probably put Agatha in that camp as well. And there's actually one other card, which is Emperor Hulkling, which has a start of the game ability. And sometimes, I mean, whenever you're playing it with Arishem, you don't get that start of the game ability. So by putting Emperor Hulkling in your starting deck, then you'll never draw a no ability Emperor Hulkling, but it does mean that then you are putting a normal Emperor Hulkling into your deck, so your mileage may vary on that, but I did just at least want to address some potential interesting ways where new could be relevant. I think that most people respect that 15 down to 12 is certainly a buff, but all of these things could be buffs if you're willing to build around them in specific ways. Now, I am not playing Quicksilver Domino to get my Wiccan online, though that might be something that I try, and even throwing Agatha and even Emperor Hulkling in there, just have all of those start of the game effects, but there's different incentives to do all of those things, but instead, as you might have seen in that previous screen here, I am playing Thanos, and the reason that I am playing Thanos, there's a few reasons. There's some nice synergy with Mockingbird and Thanos and Arishem. I just think it is a good way to include a bunch of cheap cards into your deck that also give you something to spend your energy on the later turns of the game. There's also really good synergy there with Okoye, and there's some other silly things that I'm trying to do with this deck. So the curve of Arishem now goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are playing no 3-cost cards. There's no Agent Coulson in this list. Agent Coulson, typically I think, mainstay staple of Arishem lists, and I think now we're going to see that it just makes more sense to play Nick Fury on turn 3, since you can't play that turn 2 Coulson. Play turn 3 Nick Fury, and oftentimes one of the best plays in an Arishem deck was to play Quinjet on turn 1, and like nothing else, just waste your second energy. And you can still very much do that in the new version of Arishem, or in this version, you can play like a stone turn 1 and then a stone plus Quinjet on turn 2. Both of those plays are really good and set you up very nicely for a turn 3 Nick Fury into a turn 4 6-cost card that you got from Nick Fury that Quinjet is then discounting. I did say that the shuffle 12, or I'm not even sure if I said this, but where 15 could actually potentially be a benefit, there's 2 ways. One, your opposing Cassandra Novas and Darkhawks are now smaller. I think that that is, wait, am I saying this the wrong way? They are smaller now, right? So never mind. No. That's just another example where this is a buff. One example where this is actually a nerf, just to kind of think outside the box here with me for a moment. If you are playing a Quinjet build of the deck, then you actually are drawing less cards that Quinjet will have an impact on. So that's kind of just a silly way to look at it. And then I threw Nico in here as a cool card to like clean up stones and also just smooth out the curve, one more 1-cost card in the deck. It's been okay for me right now, but like, you're going to get the extra energy from Arishem regardless, so you don't really need to lean on the Wiccan. It's just something cute as a turn 3 play that you can sometimes high roll and do. Okoye is another cool high roll and a pretty good one for Thanos decks. This is a Thanos card, I want to stress that. It is not an Arishem card. You don't get additional value by pumping more cards with Okoye unless you're drawing more cards, which you can with the Thanos stones and with Nico. And I just thought it would be a cool interaction to go turn 1 stone, turn 2 Okoye, turn 3 Misery to draw a card and then pump up your deck additionally. And then all of a sudden, all of your stones are 1/3s that can draw you even more good cards. We are not playing Coulson. Like I said, we are playing Cable though, which is another Arishem staple. Doesn't see as much play as Coulson, but a lot of people like Cable, especially in Conquest mode. And you've got a great curve here with Quinjet into Cable, and then you get your Arishem energy unlocked. However, there's another card here that I think could be even cooler, and that is Valentina. Valentina is now really fun with Arishem, even without the Quinjet, because turn 2 you play Valentina, and then turn 3, you've got 4 energy to then play your 4-cost, 6-cost cards. So there are a lot of now just very easy ways to curve out with Valentina in Arishem that might not even be necessary in like Thanos Arishem+Wiccan, where you're trying to curve out. It could just be that Valentina is just a good card in Arishem now. I've already talked about Mockingbird. I think I've mostly hit on everything except for Gorr, which is definitely replaceable. It could be Blob. It could still be Eliath. As a 6/9, Eliath is still quite nice. And I think that you could still wind up playing Eliath. I just wanted to try it out in this list. Every card, well, most of the cards here are on reveal. Quinjet is not, Mockingbird is not, but then all of the stones are. Well, most of the stones are. The Power Stone isn't, right? But most of the stones are, which means that you're going to have a pretty big Gorr. I've been enjoying Gorr and Thanos, and I think that Gorr, Thanos, Arishem+Wiccan is just a really interesting core that I wanted to play around with. So I just threw together this little video. I have played some games with it. Yeah, you know what? Let's just jump into a game and see if we can't showcase this deck a little bit. Hellfire Club, a little bit awkward, but Quinjet is pretty good. That'll allow a turn 2 Negasonic. Is this a snappable position already? Possibly. It does look like my opponent is playing Thanos off the rip, because they also have 5 cards in hand. So I think there's some reasons to snap and some reasons not to snap. I don't want to snap if they're running the Killmonger Thanos deck, even though that is slightly less popular. I do want to snap if this location is bad. Okay, the location is good for them. I also want to potentially have snapped before revealing that I had the Quinjet, but it's going to be fine. We have priority here. Oh, that could have been a snap too. I missed that I had priority, to be totally honest. But okay, it's going to be Reality Stone here to change Castle Blackstone, so kind of glad I did not snap here then. And now we could try to fill White Hot Room. I think we'll start to battle for it. Nowhere does mean that they have a little bit less opportunity to play the stones, but the stones are obviously great to White Hot Room regardless. They might beat me in the room, but I think we're still going to hang out there as well. No, they throw off and throw a Marvel Boy into nowhere. So I don't have to worry about Killmonger, and that could actually turn this snappable. They can really, I mean, their stones are best played in White Hot Room. I can make them discard a stone and get the extra energy this turn before they do. They can't Shang-Chi me. They probably can't even beat a Gorr in the Thanos mirror. So yeah, let's snap. I think this is good. And maybe I'll play one more, because I'm trying to, I mean, I'm at a high enough rating right now where I'm like trying to snap and care about it, which means a lot of the games that I've played with this deck have just been my opponent, oh, got their Mockingbird. That is insane. That is really, really good. So they are sitting on just a bunch of expensive stuff right now, and we've got the bonus energy here. It's a lot of bonus energy. If we take them to turn 7, I feel like they're really going to run out of room to play. Oh, but that opens up Hellfire Club as a place for them to play. Huh. Maybe I don't care to Magic. The problem is next turn with 10 energy, I won't be able to play this Hellcarrier. And I kind of think it would be cool to play it. Maybe this is throwing away my White Hot Room advantage, but maybe it's not. I can easily win Hellfire Club with just Gorr, which means I can also just like load up onto Nowhere where they've played a Marvel Boy and thus don't have that much power right now. Also, because of US Agent, I should be loading up in Nowhere. They are going to fill White Hot Room. It's got to be something. This could just be Thanos here, actually. Yeah, it probably is, considering they're going to get the additional Marvel Boy pings there. That's fine. We've lost White Hot Room. But we could do this, and then on the... we don't have to play around Reality Stone. That's worth noting. Yeah, I think I probably just play Okoye, and then next turn, it's turn 7. I've got 11 energy. I can play anything that isn't Arishem. So I've got one dead draw, but I think that I'm happy with that. I can even play Misery into Nowhere. So yeah, one dead draw. Anything else is playable. I'm hoping for not like Blob, but just another big on-reveal monster here. Okay. Jean Grey and Ant-Man. Yeah, expecting a Spectrum here. I think they've got no way to recover in Nowhere. So I'm just playing this, and actually, do I lose to a Spectrum? I've got to think about it, right? Because this is +4. If we consider that Spectrum then is +16 up to 25, up to 11, +11, I go to 22, 24. I lose to Spectrum by 1 point. Okay, so I double-checked the math because it was really close, and I did mess it up, actually, because US Agent, but that's going to shrink both of us. So US Agent doesn't really matter. What actually matters here is the Blue Marvel, and it was so close that Blue Marvel is now going to put me over the top, and it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, but the Marvel Boy doesn't matter because now I get to win on differential. Really, really close game, but that was a fun one. I would like to get in one more game where my opponent is maybe playing something at least that is not Thanos. So we'll see if, yeah, it looks like we've made that happen here. Asgard, I think, is one location where Arishem is now, like, definitely worse. Whereas, like, Asgard and Castle Blackstone, locations that really reward you for having a lead early, are definitely now a lot weaker for Arishem. I'm feeling the Cable. I think that'll get me some nice information too. It is a little bit awkward to draw the Mind Stone turn 2. That would have been fantastic turn 1. And I find their Scarlet Witch and they have a Daredevil. So this, the only thing that I'm really seeing is that these are both 3 power cards. But I don't quite feel like this is it. I don't think I'm playing up against Cerebro. It's possible, but I'll hang on to the Scarlet Witch for now, I think. I hate to not play any Mockingbird cards, though. These cards are both really awkward into Asgard. I'm only playing there to deny my opponent a card draw, potentially. Alright, this looks like it has to be Cerebro 3 at this point. Daredevil is interesting. Also, I did want to note, I think I said this earlier, that it was just harder to find duplicates of your cards. And I think I specifically even mentioned duplicate Mockingbird. So it's funny to see that come up. I think I will play Scarlet Witch here. And then I think I'd rather play Quinjet. Sure, yeah, let's go for this. They are going to battle for Asgard. I wanted to at least put 1 point here so that I was above 9. And I do have access to Reality Stone, even though I've blown through the Scarlet Witch, so that's also kind of cool. Monster Metropolis could be terrible for them. Yeah, this is a Cerebro 3 deck. We didn't steal their Cerebro, so that's awkward, but we do get an additional card draw here. I do kind of want to take Orcus Forge off the board. I also reasonably like playing this Mockingbird, and maybe I just go for Valentina. Gives me a 4-cost card, and then this Mockingbird will cost 2. And I'm not letting them get any free Sentinels here. If I never put more points into Monster Metropolis, I make things really tough for them, because then they will only be able to win Monster Metropolis. I suppose US Agent could be an interesting card into Nick Fury, and then they could also just, like, I've given them the opportunity to Hobgoblin in Asgard as well. So that could allow them to win Asgard. Hobgoblin here, and then Cerebro shenanigans here. I do still kind of fear Eliath, especially since I'm battling for priority quite heavy-handedly. So think that kind of gives me a nice little edge here. What did they play? They played into Reality Stone, which is Death's Domain. So I've won this center location, even though I've lost a Mockingbird in doing so. Valentina is going to give me Spectrum, which notably does not pump anything here, and I kill their Mobius before it can do anything nice. This is probably just an instance where I go Soulstone Thanos, huh? What could they play here? They can't play Scarlet Witch. They probably... This is a Cerebro. I want to make sure I don't... Like, Spectrum, Mockingbird, while cool cards, the Spectrum isn't even that good. So the play would just be like Mockingbird or Thanos. And the idea that I've already won in Death's Domain is fine as well. Oh, this is a play too, isn't it? It's a 3-power Soulstone, so it doesn't take over Monster Metropolis. It pumps up my Quinjet, so it's 11 power here, and it might actually be my best play. I like it. I think my opponent just retreated, but I did still want to talk out some interesting lines. No, they went for Death's Domain. Oh, interesting. What is in the Metropolis, then? It's a 2-power card. Well... What is it? And time to find out. It was a Sentinel and a US agent, and I don't know what got destroyed. A Red Guardian. Oh, a Red Guardian to win Death's Domain is really cute. Oh, wow. Okay. But yeah, they did not win Monster Metropolis. They just played a Sentinel there, and US Agent was not enough to swing it with the additional 2 power from the Spectrum. Let's play one more here and see if we can play up against a slightly more reasonable deck. I do think that Nico is certainly an interesting card in this deck. I think I'll just go... I'm going to play Nico because I like the plus power at least a little bit. Quicksilver. That is something else I would like to try out, is the Quicksilver version. Oh, now I can play a turn 2 Juggernaut. Kick my opponent out of Elysium. Elysium could be bad if they are trying to Wiccan. Okay, it's a Copycat, which was a Time Stone. That's what it looked like. Yeah. Misery onto the Nico. Oh, Nick Fury into Asgard with Elysium. All of this is really good, and it can drop the Black Knight. They are planning on playing a Wiccan this turn. However, I think I can battle with a bunch of 6-cost cards, and I'll be able to play one next turn. I think that Nick Fury might be able to beat a Wiccan. They have to hard commit now to Asgard, or I'm going to be the drawer. Could even just do that with Thanos, or Thanos. Yeah, you can definitely still get duplicates. But, I mean, I feel like Gorr is going to be the best option eventually. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're going to battle for Asgard this turn, which means I don't have to care. And I would rather just play the biggest card here so that I win without having to invest energy here on future turns. Okay, they don't battle, which means they don't get the card draw, which means their Wiccan is significantly nerfed. They do have a Gorr themselves, though. and Penny Parker will pump that up. I have Enchantress, but it is an Enchantress held back by Elysium. So I cannot play Enchantress into Crimson Cosmos. What is a little bit awkward here is Misery would give me a free Spider-Man next turn, but I think I should still just play it. Reactivate Juggernaut. What are other options? I don't want to reactivate Nick Fury because I'd like to draw Reality Stone to turn off Crimson Cosmos so I can play Enchantress there. Actually, that can never happen at this point. But I still don't know if I care about drawing more cards from Nick Fury. Arishem is an interesting way to... I mean, do I just try to battle for the Crimson Cosmos by playing multiple Thanoses there? Sure. Sure. Oh, they went all out for Elysium. One of those is going to be the Spider, though. They didn't care for the extra energy. They wanted to get that onto Captain Marvel. Yeah, I guess that's going to make them pretty flexible. And then Psylocke. So they still do have infinite energy on the final turn. I have a real means to win in Crimson Cosmos. If Captain Marvel moves here, then I probably still beat it. Huh. Just play my second Gorr. Not using any of my extra energy, but it's probably my best play still. Could also use Ultron to get a little bit of power so that way Captain Marvel, but I know Captain Marvel... I'm just going to hope that they play something big with an on-reveal center. Oh, they moved the Captain Marvel themselves, and then they played a Legion and a Hydra Bob and a Hawkeye, another on-reveal card, plus Gorr. Those were some wacky games, but that is going to be it for me. I'm getting pretty tired, as you can probably tell by my voice, but I wanted to get this video out for my thoughts on day one playing with the new Arishem. That's going to be it for me today, though. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.